My name is Chief Strongblood. I am St. Vincent and the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son. I am the diaspora machismo. Each time you hear Evan Johnson speaking, and he is going to use a local proverb, he always starts that proverb by saying, old people say. What he is trying to say is the wise utterance of our elders declared such and such. In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, our elders always said, once a criminal, always a criminal. If you give a goat enough rope, he will one day hang himself. Once a criminal, always a criminal is quite self-explanatory. But the wise proverbs of our elders that say if you give a goat enough rope, he will one day hang himself needs a little explanation. This proverbs is related to once a criminal, always a criminal. What they are actually saying is if you give slick criminal enough time, he is going to make a big mistake and he is going to be caught eventually. It is believed that Ralph Gonsalves was instrumental in maintaining his office as Prime Minister by getting involved in a lot of criminal activities. It is believed that Ralph Gonsalves was responsible for the murder of his press secretary, Glenn Jackson.
Song for most of them. They would soon be getting into rehearsals. We have the sponsors of this year's contest, or should I say this contest.
It was alleged that Ralph Gonsalves was responsible for Mr. Cruikshank's death. Mr. Cruikshank was one of his staunch supporters who decided that he did not like the way Ralph Gonsalves was conducting the business of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and decided to give his support to the New Democratic Party. It is believed that Ralph Gonsalves often run his government on proceed of drugs. Do you remember Reuben Morgan, the brother-in-law of the then Attorney General Judith Jones Morgan? While traveling to the United Kingdom, Reuben Morgan was stopped and searched, and a quantity of cocaine was found in his possession. Yet, Mr. Morgan was allowed to walk free because he had a diplomatic passport. He was on St. Vincent and the Grenadines' business at the time he was smuggling those drugs. Do you remember in 2008, Michelle Andrews came public and declared that Ralph Gonsalves raped her while she was on duty at his residence in Montrose? After Michelle Andrews made those allegations against Ralph Gonsalves, without any pressure upon him, Ralph Gonsalves held a press conference, and in that press conference, he confessed to being at the place Michelle Andrews accused him of being at. He confessed to being there at the time Michelle Andrews accused him of being at. He confessed to being there on the date Michelle Andrews said he was there. And he confessed to sexually assaulting Michelle Andrews, which was one of the charges Michelle Andrews made against Ralph Gonsalves. Ralph Gonsalves, in his own words, confessed that on the date, the time, and at the place Michelle Andrews accused him of being at, he was there and he gave Michelle Andrews a reassuring kiss. Let's be clear here. Michelle Andrews have never consented, either by declaration or implication, to Ralph Gonsalves' sexual advancement on her on that night. Here we have once again, in a public forum, in Ralph Gonsalves' presence, Mr. Ian Wace is making public declaration that Ralph Gonsalves was once again involved in a serious crime, the crime of embezzlement. Mr. Wace accused Ralph Gonsalves in his presence of using his office as Prime Minister to shake him down.
I had come down with a certain perspective about what I should try to do. By the time I left this gentleman, he had extracted 5 times the amount of money out. 5 times. Right? The man is ridiculous. The man is ridiculous.
Mr. Wace used words such as "this man is ridiculous" when referring to Ralph Gonsalves and the illegal actions he imposed upon him. Mr. Wace also described his feelings as one just having an anal lobotomy. Having an anal lobotomy is a homosexual term. That means someone has fucked them up the ass so hard that it hurt their frontal lobe. That is a part in the brain.
I stand here having received an anal lobotomy of extraction of money.
Ralph Gonsalves, who was present at the time Mr. Wace made these allegations, did not show any disapproval. He did not object to Mr. Wace's allegations, but he gave a sheepish smile, proud of his actions. And that is because Mr. Wace's allegations were true. Mr. Wace is no idiot. Mr. Wace was very careful with the words he used in making this address. Each time he make a reference to the monies that he spent in St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the burial relief effort, he used the word extraction or extracted, which means his gifts was not voluntary, but they were forced. The word extract means to remove or take out, especially by force or effort.
Just when you think you have extracted enough money, he asks for more. And more. Just when you think you have extracted enough money, he asks for more. And more. I stand here having received an anal lobotomy of extraction of money.
You see, the counsel of our elders never go wasted. And they were correct when they said, if you give a goat enough rope, he is going to eventually hang himself. Like Mr. Andrews, Mr. Wace is now making public criminal allegation against Ralph Gonsalves. And in Ralph Gonsalves' presence, he showed no objection, but he nodded approvingly, saying that whatever Mr. Wace have declared is true. Do you remember the story of the Chicago gangster Alfonso Capone, or Al Capone, better known as Scarface? Scarface was responsible for smuggling and selling drugs all over Chicago. He was involved in many murders of his opponents. He was involved in the smuggling of alcohol during the Prohibition era. He was involved in prostitution and many more criminal activities. And no matter how hard the police tried, they could not get enough evidence to convict Al Capone. However, Al Capone was later convicted on tax evasion, a crime that pales in degree and comparison to the other criminal activities he was involved in. Those people of Union Island and Canaan who benefited from Ralph Gonsalves' embezzled money from Mr. Wace, don't be surprised when the murder rate on your islands start elevating. There is always a high price to pay when you receive blood money to get yourself back together. My name is Chief Strongblood. I am St. Vincent and the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son. I am the Diaspora Machismo.